Good evening, and thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Zach. I work as a data analyst and a full-stack developer. Currently, I am at Adirant, a legal software vendor, where every night I process data for hundreds of the most successful law firms in the world. But today, I want to talk to you all about something a little more small scale, and that's Vistos. Vistos is a commercial intelligence company geared towards small to mid-sized businesses. It rests on the mission that the data markets should be equitable and approachable for all. I do not believe they are currently. Underpinning this idea is the idea that data is valuable. You know, I probably would have had to sell you on this idea at one point, but I think I'm good now. I think the past 5 years have really shown us the power of having data and leveraging it, and you can even go so far as actually trading with it and using it as a form of capital, which is to say a tradable asset, right? So data markets exist, data is valuable, we all know that. But leveraging it is not easy. It requires talent, it requires people who know how to manage cloud architecture, databases, all kinds of technology that tend to come with a very steep price tag. As a result, data talent is very expensive. I pulled numbers from Glassdoor, as you can see here. Over there, we got the bottom 25th percentile at 63,000. Already kind of steep, but really I trust Robert Half a little bit more, and they're saying 80,000. That's going to put data analysts at a higher pay grade than most employees in small businesses, especially even the most highest paid. So that can be a real barrier for companies to adopt data analytics in their company. The solution to this is to reappropriate the talent. They shouldn't be hiring these people. It's too expensive. They should have some means, though, of getting the data and insights that they need. So I think Vistos should be the one to take that on. If we take on the hiring, we take on the cloud architecture and all that management, it frees up small businesses to actually get value from their data. The secret sauce to all of this is that data consultancy is extremely overpriced. My going rate on the for the enterprise scale is $200 to $300 an hour for what I do. Most small companies can't afford that. That's obscene. So I'm saying $80 an hour can actually accomplish that goal and still make enough to pay data analysts, enough for them to feel like they're being compensated for their work. Furthermore, more can be made using pipelines to process data for companies, which will enable them to get data delivery for an affordable cost. Also, only at $15 a month, this is majorly undercutting a lot of the market. Now, I know I'm saying some things here, undercutting the market. I got to put something behind these words, especially when I'm going up the likes of all these monolithic data warehousing tools, maybe SAP, now more flashy, Snowflake, Looker, you name it. They're out there. They're too expensive, and they're very hard to manage. You usually have to hire somebody just to manage tools like that. So now you're back where you started. You can also go to one of the big four, right? Everyone loves the big four, but they also cost you a few $1,000s a day. In most cases, especially in the realm of data analytics. So really, once again, out of reach for small businesses. Then you have talent agencies and third-party analytics contractors. These are in abundance, and they're going to keep being so. However, a lot of these companies seek to entrench you on their services and don't want to actually let you go. There's no clean handoff, and they want to make you dependent on them. I believe I can beat these companies because of the rates they're charging. I know these rates that I'm offering can exist profitably because I've run a lot of multidimensional simulations on my pricing model, both in the consultancy realm and the pipelines. If you're this nonsense you're seeing over here, I'll go ahead and explain that. This big cube thingy, this square right here in the middle is the break-even point. Everything above that is profitable. Everything below it is unprofitable. This scary corner down here, that assumes I hire too many people and don't have any work to give them. So to make sure I'm not blindsided by clientele shifts and seasonality, I'll make sure I push pipelines more than anything else. The profit margins for these are huge. That's because they require cloud expertise and they relies more on the knowledge base. So far, we're already moving. I know this works because it's happening. I'm already working with Cloud Conduction and Partech GSS Incorporated to gather data from IoT controllers inside vehicle fleets and power generators that people are using for backup power. I'm also publishing open source projects and participating in the open source space. My next steps are to get a website up and running so that I can start moving these pipelines more than anything because they will be crucial to making sure I'm not blindsided by any downturns in clientele. This will increase my reach across the country, maybe even globally, and make it more scalable business. I'll also be participating with organizations like Creative Coast and anything of the like to try to get Vistos' name out there in a more grassroots growth campaign. And with that, I conclude. I'm out of time.
Test. So, can you clarify for me? Vistos is a service company?
It will focus both on consultancy and providing data as a service, yes.
Okay, so do you have a product in here, or you're just ingesting data, putting it in a data warehouse, and then...
No, we will not be offering data warehousing. We're not going to try to recreate data warehousing.
Are you doing
tools.
business intelligence on the top of that?
We will help with business intelligence. It's general. You can think of us like analysts for hire. We'll come in, we'll help you with the task at hand, we'll give you guidance and training as to take it over in the future, and then leave on our way in a clean handoff. That way you don't have to keep paying us money, and you can leave in a more beneficial place than we met you.
And you're hiring outside consultants or subcontractors that work for you?
Yes, and the goal is to get analysts, pay them a rate that they can work with. I'm expecting to have a revolving door. I'm targeting junior talent. But the idea is that I believe by creating an organization like this, it will foster talent in the data analytics space a lot better than data analysts going to work at these companies by themselves.
And lastly, my apologies to the rest of the judges.
No worries.
What verticals are you focused on?
Vertical, as in the market we're servicing in particular. We're trying to keep ourselves open-ended towards market, but right now I'm looking at retail and restaurants as my entry point, with the exception of Partech GSS. I just needed to get a first client.
Okay, thank you.
All the way up? Okay. Wow. So I think it's a very interesting model that you have, and maybe I missed it, but how are you going to get client acquisition? I don't see that in the model that you presented.
Yeah, I am trying to grow out my sales capabilities. I'm currently engaging with a good friend of mine who has a very strong background in business development in the nonprofit space. I believe that his background can help me target companies with small margins a little more effectively. And then from there, that will help me increase my presence in the community here in Savannah, servicing the retail and restaurants around here.
Hi, Zach. Great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once the data is collected by your company,
Yes.
how is that shared? And then with data constantly changing, how are you conditioning the client to then look at that data and know what they're actually looking at?
That's a great question. I'm going to lean very heavily on training. There is a consultancy element, but I want them to feel like they're leaving with something useful, not just answers, right? And I'm also going to be drawing upon the myriad of self-service tools that we find in the market nowadays. I'm not going to tell you to not use Tableau or Power BI if you're already using it. But I will help you use it more effectively. Or any other tool that I might have mentioned that you might have already invested in. I'm not going to drive you off of it so much as just try to help you utilize it more effectively. If I do recognize that maybe there's a better place for improvement, I will help drive the client there.